Hiya, I'm Aya. Today's retro view is all about Rugrats: The Search for Reptar, our fake Godzilla. As everyone has watched me play on stream, we are happy about the Reptar part of the game, because you get to play as a giant dinosaur. Is Reptar a dinosaur? I think so, right? So being able to run around and just destroy But what is this game about? The TV show on Nickelodeon called Rugrats. It features a few babies, the main baby being Tommy and his friends Chucky, Phil, Lil, and his cousin Angelica. And they're all very, small children, and they just have these adventures together, like imaginary adventures in the TV show. So this was, I believe it started in 1991, this TV show. And the game for the PlayStation 1 came out in 1998. So we want to know, does the game stand the test of time? Has it been good over the years? Is it still good now? And, we always judging to see what a game is all about. Is the story good? Are the graphics good enough? Are the sounds good? How is the gameplay and your controls? Can you replay it? And of course, our own personal journey. So you go around the house of the Pickles and try to play all these mini games to collect Reptar bars and puzzle pieces. And if you collect, I think 15 Reptar bars or something, you get a puzzle piece out of it. So you either collect a bunch of Reptar bars or just play the mini games for the puzzle pieces. And the objective is to collect all the puzzle pieces, and then that's the game. So they have different difficulties of these mini games. You have easy mode, medium, and hard. And in order to play the higher difficulties, you have to play through the easier ones to collect puzzle pieces to unlock them. So I think that's pretty cool. It looks a lot like the TV show. Like, everything pretty much coincides with the TV show. The house is laid out from the show. It's a map that's not too big, especially for little kids, if you're gonna play that. When I was a little kid, this game was a lot harder than obviously playing it here. I think it took us to do all the mini games and do the Reptar puzzle 2 times. It took us a little over 2 hours. Not sure how much you guys played as a kid of this game, but if you did, I'd have to say the nostalgia factor is probably its most redeeming quality. The minigames are pretty easy. We have like special bonus levels, which happens to be the nickel collecting, the cookie eating, the chocolate milk, and Mirror Land. Not only do you have these minigames of like things you have to play, but you also get bonus ones after you defeat a minigame. So let's just go in and talk about the biggest issue with the game. The graphics are so low poly, but you know what? Even if they're low poly, you know exactly the character. Graphically speaking, it's pretty nice. It's kind of mid. Especially now in our game time, 2024. This is 26 years later. Sounds, you have music that mostly fits with each level, which I think is kind of cool. The controls, I do have to say, are a little bit weird. You don't have control of your camera, so when you're running around, the camera auto changes, which can sometimes partially invert your controls of movement, which I think was my biggest gripe control-wise. Everything else made sense. It was pretty straightforward. If you know how to read, you'll have no problem with the game. If you don't know how to read, get an adult.
I am an adult.
But I think that overall, the minigames make for great adventures, because when you're a little kid, your imagination runs wild and you can come up with the craziest things, and it really portrays that fairly well, like going into outer space. Like the remote control for the TV is like an alien space shooter thing. Cookies refill your health. Mini golf? I think it's really nice that they added different types of things into it. Like a mini golf was very cool, especially when you go into the pyramids, right? So you go into the pyramids and you can get all these Reptar bars, and then you get scared because you hear these weird noises and it's kind of dark and you're gonna get lost. So not only are you trying to play mini golf, but you're also trying to navigate a maze. And there's a couple mazes in here. So for example, the Cynthia one where you're playing as Spike, the goose chase for Grandpa's teeth. They definitely added some scare factor. Like when I was little, I remember being kind of scared at the ghost one. The labyrinth was scary. The space one was scary. I don't like the basement. Overall, my personal opinion on the game is it is good at capturing the Rugrats show, all its creativity, the children's adventures, and everything. There's a lot of variability in the like mini games of the levels, so I think that's cool. They definitely implemented good enough music, I think, in my opinion. Now, for some stuff that I didn't really love, controls are like at the top of my list, and that's pretty much every old game is I have a gripe with controls. They just felt awkward with the camera movements, and I kind of feel like the levels were too short. Like the game is too easy. I mean, clearly if we can beat the whole thing twice in under 3 hours, I don't know. I feel like it's too short. But a lot of games, especially for kids, back in the day were very short. I think like Land Before Time, which is one I plan to do in the future, is under 2 hours to beat the main game. But then there's other games that are like, you're gonna spend at least 10 or more hours on it. So for this particular one, as a little kids game, not bad. Replayability though, there's not much of it. I mean, you can try to 100% it, but that's not hard to do either, right? So I would have to say, nostalgia has definitely put on those rose-colored glasses to make me think that this game is good. And it's not that it's bad now by any means, especially when they have funny voice lines. When you pick things up, like the guitar, and you toss it, it makes like the guitar string sound, and you can play on the little piano. Like there's a lot of interactive items throughout the game, which I think is nice. And they did a really good job with like implementing the sounds that it makes if you're running through water versus grass versus, you know, running around the house. But I do think that overall, if you don't have nostalgia, it's really not worth playing nowadays. If you're a kid, most of your kids that are born in the last like 10 years are probably gonna look at this and be like, ew. But maybe not. I don't know. If you played it as a kid when you were younger, probably should have, that could make this a little better, right? So out of 5, I would rate this game a 3.5 or 4. And I only say that is because sequels are not as good. They have less variability. So this one, like, they really changed it up, right? They have different things for each level. Some of them are a little bit too similar, but most of the levels are different, and they have pretty good objectives, and they really do capture the Rugrats fairly well. But I don't know if I would consider it good to today's standards. As someone who hasn't played it, you probably won't enjoy this game, especially since it's, you know, geared for younger audiences, right? But what do I know, right? Only that, yes, I played this game as a kid. I played it again now, and I still enjoyed it quite a bit. It was a fun little like couple hour little thing. And if you want to have that nostalgia, you can get the ROM, because this is a PlayStation 1 game, but I don't think it really stood the test of time so much, as it's just like a good retro game for kids, and I enjoyed it because of the nostalgia factor primarily. But, you know, if you played this, what did you think? Do you think you would play it again now as an adult? Or do you think it's too childish or too easy? Let me know what you think about this game. And did you think it stood the test of time? Because I don't think it did. Not quite. Let me know also if you have any other retro games that you want me to try out, play, and review. And of course, always, if you want to support me, you can always subscribe to the YouTube channel, like, and comment on videos, and have a fantastic retro week.